2001 from Golden State Warrior Anton Jameson. And there's no mercy in our review of the latest WWF title. Stick around, it's game time.
Hello and welcome to Extended Play from Shiny Entertainment in Laguna Beach, California. I'm Adam Sessler.
And I'm Kate Botello. Now, Shiny is renowned for bringing you such distinctly kooky titles as Earthworm Jim and MDK, and of course, the excellent and innovative Sacrifice.
Now, when we talk about these games, we often refer to the term engines, but we've never really explained what that means. So here's a look at what drives some of our favorite games.
An engine is an engine. It's the guts of the game.
A game engine is something that basically can provide the entire framework.
Just like a car can't run without something under the hood, a game can't run without a skeleton of computer code. This skeleton is what we call the engine.
90% of what a game engine provides you is visuals and environment. So if you don't have the best visuals, then you don't have the best engine.
You take a game that has been a best-selling game, and then you say, it's like, okay, this game is close to what I want to do in my game. We'll modify this into something that we want.
Two successful game engines have risen above the pack in recent years. Its Quake engines and Epic's Unreal Engine are licensed more than any other. Licensing an engine allows the developer to take the backbone of a previously successful game and apply it to their new game.
Use it as something kind of a springboard. The stellar example, of course, is Half-Life. To a large part, Half-Life was possible because they were able to build on this, this kind of baseline technology.
Half-Life used a modified version of the Quake 2 engine, and while the two games look nothing alike, both operate from the same technical structure. Another totally different game in development on a modified Quake 2 engine is the third-person perspective Anachronox.
We tend to license people's engines. It's very important for designers to really seriously understand the technology they're using and really know the limits of it and push those limits so you can present a wonderful world and come up with new creative ideas on top of that technology.
People aren't cognizant of how much of it is smoke and mirrors, how much of a good game design is making it look like it's much more powerful than it actually is.
The engine has several components. There's the renderer, which draws everything on the screen. There's the AI, which figures out how the characters move around the world. There's collision. There's networking that figures out how you play the game online. And then there's the tool set, such as Unreal Ed, which we use a lot around the office as level designers to build the world.
So how do these components set the Quake and Unreal engines apart from each other? The differences are very technical, but result in unique design tools. The Quake 3 engine boasts what results in the best-looking polygonal architecture, especially in its ability to render curved surfaces. This technology is most evident in games like Heavy Metal Fact 2 and Alice. The more commonly licensed engine is the Unreal Engine. It's been used in games like Rune and Deep Space Nine: The Fallen. One of the engine's chief strengths is its ease of use.
You can quickly put together your levels. The level editor is very good, so you don't have to wait around to see what the game is going to look like.
Even though the original games of both engines are first-person shooters, obviously engines can be used for a variety of genres.
If you want to build a third-person game, a driving game, you can usually tailor an engine into what you want to do with it.
Engines are being licensed more and more frequently as developers look to save valuable time and resources. While licensing engines has mainly been a route for PC game developers, it looks like that's about to change.
I think you'll find companies licensing game engines more and more, especially with all the new technology like Xbox, NVIDIA, NV20. We already have several licensees using the engine on Xbox and PlayStation 2.
It's pretty clear that the potential of both the Quake and Unreal engines is only limited by creativity.
Xbox Technologies, a Florida-based software company, will take on Microsoft in a battle that could delay the launch of the Xbox. The software company registered the Xbox name in March of '99, months before Microsoft registered it. Legal experts say Microsoft could launch its machine prior to a resolution, but if the company loses, it would be forced to withdraw the console. John Carmack will be inducted into the Interactive Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame at the 4th Annual Awards Ceremony next month. Carmack is the founder of id Software and the creator of the Doom and Quake series of games. Previous award recipients include Miyamoto of Nintendo, Sid Meier of Firaxis, and Sakaguchi of Square. The Game Boy Advance, set to ship on March 21st in Japan, may be faced with a shortage situation. Retailers predict that consumers will want 2.7 million of Nintendo's new handheld, while Nintendo's initial projected output is just 1 million units. Games based on The Matrix are now in the works thanks to the licensing agreement between Interplay and Warner Brothers. The first game is reportedly in the action-adventure genre and is being developed by Shiny Entertainment. The game will tie in closely with the upcoming Matrix sequel to be released next year.
Coming up on Extended Play, we find out what's new in the world of mechs. And we battle with ladders in our review of WWF No Mercy.
Welcome back to Extended Play from the boardroom of Shiny Entertainment. At the end of 2000, Interplay released two eagerly anticipated titles.
Both of these games are noted for their offbeat sense of humor and their remarkable graphics. One of them was Shiny Sacrifice. The other was Giant.
Giant Citizen Kabuto has been a long time coming, but one look at the game tells us that it's been worth the wait. Graphically, the game is truly amazing, with delicate light texturing and jaw-dropping animations that have a cartoon-like fluidity. The design of the game is equally impressive, with well-defined and textured characters on top of environments that rival Sacrifice and Alice for imagination. This is coupled with a wonderful sense of humor.
Name's Buzz.
Rightio. Mine's Ahmed, but you can call me Timmy.
Unfortunately, this beauty does come at a price, as Giants requires a very powerful computer to run efficiently and be able to enjoy the sumptuous visuals. In Giants, you play 3 different races: the intergalactic party-seeking Mechwarriors, a rebellious Sea Reaper named Delphi, and the large, lumbering, and insatiable Kabuto, who is on a mission of destruction. The gameplay style is fundamentally mission-based shooter action, though the game changes things up with some basic strategy-oriented base building and some exceptionally fun jet ski racing. The first half of the game focuses on the Mechwarriors, and one can tell that the bulk of the development went to these missions. As the game continues, especially in Kabuto's levels, missions get shorter, and one can feel a drop in ingenuity. Probably this was done to meet its holiday shipping date. The game also shows its rushed quality in some devastating crash bugs that are further exacerbated by the lack of in-game saves. A patch is currently available, which alleviates most of the problems. Despite some flaws, Giant Citizen Kabuto is one of the most inventive games in both design and gameplay to come along in quite some time. If you have a system that can handle it, this game is definitely worth checking out. Extended Play gives it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, I'm just watching some of Shiny's old corporate training videos. By the way, Giants is such a great game that even Old Man Murray, one of gaming's most opinionated and crankiest sites, thought it was great. So there you go. Recently, WWF titles have improved tremendously over a previously mediocre genre. Last year's WrestleMania 2000 from THQ was considered one of the best ever. Now let's take a look at the follow-up on the N64, WWF No Mercy. Oh, mercy!
All right, wrestling fans, it's time to break out the multicolored spandex shorts and kick some major butt with Nintendo 64's newest game, WWF No Mercy! This is the game that brings back the wild storylines and brutal violence that's fun for gamesters of all ages. The rules to No Mercy are simple. There are no rules. You try to pin your opponent or opponents by any means necessary, whether it be a flying kick, headbutt, or chair to the back of the head when the ref's not looking. There's also a vast selection of wrestling venues. Choose from the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, or the fan favorite ladder matches. Besides vivid scenery, the body and facial expressions of each wrestler look authentic. And no two characters are more fun to watch than the Dudleys. Their outfits are mimicked verbatim and their faces downright ugly. The sound found in No Mercy is a good mix of catchy wrestler anthems and true-to-life sound effects. Don't believe us? Then try beating your opponent over the head with a ladder and tell me if the crack in the skull doesn't sound 100% authentic. Now that's gotta hurt. With tons of venues, rich graphics, and solid control, this game can now lay claim as King of the Ring in your N64 for months and months to come. Overall, Extended Play gives WWF No Mercy a whopping 4 out of 5 stars.
If you want more WWF action, but you don't happen to own an N64, you can always pick up THQ's other wrestling title, WWF SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. Now, Mechwarrior has always been the definitive series for giant robot simulations. Now the title's changed hands from Microprose and Zipper to Microsoft for Mechwarrior 4, Vengeance.
The joys of piloting a 100-ton behemoth and laying devastation to everything in your wake never grows old. Just look at the lasting appeal of the Mechwarrior franchise. Now the 4th installment is out, loaded with more improvements and features than you'll know what to do with.
You have to get those comm towers down. Now.
Mechwarrior games have always been weighted on the side of combat simulations rather than the point-and-shoot mayhem of first-person shooters. Lots of strategy goes into your battle mech even before the mission begins. You'll need to decide which equipment is best suited for each operation. Once you get into the game, you have the usual slew of combat sim mission objectives fought on various terrains.
Target destroyed.
The action in Mechwarrior 4 has been sped up, and this is complemented by flashier graphics, giving the game a more up-tempo feel. The battlefields are much more detailed than before, as are the mechs themselves, and special effects like smoke, lighting effects, and explosions are top-notch.
Target destroyed.
The multiplayer mode, supported by Microsoft's MSN Gaming Zone, is outstanding. Even slow modems are playable in the different gaming modes.
Target destroyed.
With great attention to detail and high quality overall, the Mechwarrior series once again vaults to the top of the giant robot heap. Extended Play gives Mechwarrior 4 Vengeance a 5 out of 5. Coming up on Extended Play, there's ogres in your N64. And we sail the 7 seas in our review of Sea Dogs. Are ye matey?
Welcome back to Extended Play at Shiny Entertainment in Laguna Beach, California.
Now, normally when you think of role-playing games, you would think PC or PlayStation, because the N64 isn't really known for RPGs, possibly because the cartridge format just isn't big enough to hold all that data.
Now, Japanese developer Quest and publisher Atlas have brought us Ogre Battle 64. Here's an RPG that packs a whole lot of gameplay into only 35 megs.
As most N64 owners know, RPGs are a rare commodity in the system's library. Ogre Battle 64, person of lordly caliber, attempts to fill the gap. Any self-respecting strategy RPG needs an epic story filled with political intrigue, kingdom-wide upheaval, clashing armies, and spellbinding sorcery twists. Ogre Battle 64 delivers all of these. When in battle, input is limited to strategy choices such as attack leader or attack strongest. While this style of play can have its disadvantages, the AI's ability to choose targets more than makes up for it. The real strategy of Ogre Battle 64 comes from preparation, not in-battle tactics. The massive organizational screen allows you to juggle soldiers between units, change equipment for individuals, change character classes, and shift a unit's formation, and more. Visually, Ogre Battle 64 may disappoint those who demand a large helping of 3D eye candy in their games. The graphics are not ugly by any means, but polygons are few and far between. For N64 owners craving strategy fare, or for fans of the RPG genre looking for something rarely seen these days, Ogre Battle 64 is a fine choice. Extended Play gives Ogre Battle 64, person of lordly caliber, a 3 out of 5.
Speaking of ogres, we've got a great summoner video on our website, so come by and check that out. You know, it's always fun to be a pirate, whether you're the bumbling Guybrush Threepwood or the very cute Trombone. Now, though, let's take a trip to the briny deep and see what happens when you get to be a pirate in one of 3 different ways. Here's Sea Dogs. Arr.
I'd watch the tall ships from the quay and dream of distant lands and foreign seas. I always knew one day I'd be a captain.
In addition to role-playing and strategy, Sea Dogs is also a third-person shooter-style game that sets you adrift on the high seas.
But fate decided otherwise.
It might have been better served if it had stuck to one or at the most two types of gameplay. While the 3-in-1 idea is admirable, it doesn't quite work. In the third-person perspective, control of your character is sluggish. Movements seem to be delayed, so that if you move your character forward, you move a split second later than you'd expect. Sea Dogs uses the traditional adventure game style in which dialogue and puzzle solving are key, though it discards voice dialogue for readable text, which pulls you out of the immersive experience. In battle, you overtake and board other ships. The goal is to ransack your enemy's treasure and bring it back to the towns for trade. Handling the different elements of gameplay can be tricky. There's a lot to absorb: ship types, combat controls, boarding and ransacking enemies, not to mention keeping your crew happy. If you're not a good captain, seafaring can be a powder keg of power struggles and mutiny. Overall, the game misses the target, but comes just close enough to avoid being a bust. Extended Play gives Sea Dogs a 3 out of 5.
Coming up on Extended Play, Anton Jameson, star of the Golden State Warriors, gives us his tips on how to play NBA Live 2001.
Welcome back to Extended Play at Shiny Entertainment in Laguna Beach, California.
You know that we in Extended Play love to bring you the latest gaming peripherals and accessories. So now, let's take a look at the Claw! If you're into late-night frag fest, then you probably have some experience with really sore wrists and arms the next day, especially on your keyboard hand. Now, though, there's some help for you in the form of the Claw. Now, the Claw is a new first-person shooter peripheral that actually replaces the keyboard when you're playing the game and plugs right into the keyboard port on your computer. All you have to do is program it. Now, there's no software required, so the way you do that is actually to hit a button on the Claw and then the corresponding button on the keyboard. That's it. You're done. Then you can just relax your hand here, and it does hold a lot of different size hands. Very comfortable. And you're set. So I thought it would be nice to just help you relieve a little bit of stress. I mean, we figure in the middle of a death match, you're stressed enough. By the way, if you have the Claw at home and it works well for you, drop us an email and let us know. If you're feeling nostalgic, sometimes curling up on a comfy couch and watching an old movie is a great thing to do. If you're feeling nostalgic in a gamer kind of way, bust out some popcorn and watch this intro to Gradius III IV.
Sometimes those memories of the golden era of gaming can make me feel a little old. NBA Live 2001 from EA Sports is a fantastic-looking basketball game for the PS2. Though if you've tried to play it, you probably found out it's a little bit difficult to master. So for some advice, we decided to go directly to the source. Anton Jameson of the Golden State Warriors is both a mega superstar and an avid gamer. So with this advice, hopefully you'll end up with nothing but net.
2001 Live is the latest and greatest NBA PlayStation 2 game to hit the scene. But for those of us who know close to nil about the strategies of basketball, the game can get a little tricky. Figuring out how to maximize your control buttons, pick the correct defense, execute offensive plays, heck, just keeping the ball in bounds. That's why the hard-working crew here at Extended Play decided to head over to the Oakland Arena to get the opinions of a professional basketball video gaming expert.
This is what we do. We play video games all day.
Yes, it's the big man himself, star and captain of the Golden State Warriors, Anton Jameson.
Now, the key to the game, when you're playing, you need to choose the Golden State Warriors. And your number one option should be myself. I ain't trying to brag, but I've been doing this for a long time. I like to put points on the board. I don't like to sit back and, I like to get up, trap, make them shoot quick shots, make them turn over the ball and things like that, and then get the ball offensively to myself and Larry Hughes and guys like that. If you have a good post-up guy, you want to give it to the post. If you have a guy who can shoot threes, you want to try to give it to the guy who can shoot the ball. And if you got a good point guard like Jason Kidd or Gary Payton, I like Kevin Garnett because he's on the cover of the game, so they're gonna make him better than everybody else. It's very realistic, and it's just like playing a basketball game. I mean, you just can't come up there and shoot shots and expect to win. I mean, you have to know who to give the ball to, when to take the shots. You got Shaq shooting almost a three-pointer. He doesn't know the games, down the post, nothing else. You got to play team defense. I mean, it's the NBA. You can't play one-on-one. You'll get blown out very quickly. Turbo make it quick, turbo blast. You have my quickness out there on the court. Press the O button to shoot, the X to pass. Then the main important part about shooting free throws is to get the ball right in the middle of the box. And when you do that, you should win a lot of basketball games. I just won a game. I beat the Lakers. That's realistic. That's what's going to happen again this year, hopefully.
For another look at Anton Jameson's strategy guide, come on out to our website, insideoftechtv.com.
And if you have any questions on NBA Live 2001 or any other game, make sure you come to our chats Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
We'd like to give a great big thank you to David Perry and the rest of Shiny Entertainment for so graciously hosting us here today.
Well, that about does it for this episode of Extended Play. So, until next time,
game over.
Scott, I told you they didn't want you on the show. Get back to work.
Oh, hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott.